What's up, world? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Ecussionist, aka Matt V, giving you lesson number 5 from our second trimester here in 2025. Big shout out to NGO Radio Terra and all of our sponsors: Tamboro Drums, Prowell Corporation, Icon Microphones, and Roland Corporation. Thank you so much, as well as NGO Radio Terra for hosting us on their YouTube channel. Every week we bring you, as well as a bunch of other fantastic music educators and enthusiasts and musician creatives, bring you nothing but our knowledge that we've honed over our entire lifetimes in these like 30-minute chunks every week for all lessons in all ages. So this is really for you. We're happy to be here, excited to be conveying some of this knowledge. And today we're going to be talking about the paradiddle, the very mighty paradiddle and its many applications. We're going to be going into a deeper look. I'm going to show you some exercises that I use in some ways that they just are cool. The ways that in which you can practice something that I think to some beginner drummers is considered a bit boring, which is rudiments. Granted, of course, we all want to get right to the good stuff, but part of getting to the good stuff is knowing our foundation. So one of the biggest foundations to our drum language is this sticking between two hands or between 2 feet or between hand and foot. But either way, this sticking, right, is the important part. It's the right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left thing. So right? And there's a lot of different versions of this exact rudiment, the paradiddle. There's a double paradiddle, which is there's a triple paradiddle. There's a flammadiddle. And so with these different permutations, we can create a lot of different things. So this is like a funky rudiment that actually plays a very large part in your basic vocabulary as a drummer, but could also not sound super square and basic. Let me go back to this first swing thing that I showed you. This is indeed a paradiddle variation displaced between hand and foot. So essentially, I think one of the things that can help us think about the paradiddle too is that it's a mirror image of itself. So whatever combination of right, left, right, left, left that you're doing, just make sure that it's the same on the other side, right? There's a paradiddle diddle. We didn't talk about that one. So this is one of the things that I do when I'm working on my rudiments is I put this ostinato in my feet. It's a basic bossa nova rhythm, which is a Brazilian rhythm. For those who are outside of Brazil or the United States not familiar with this, and this right here serves as a good foundation to compare what we're playing in our hands to what we're playing in our foot. And here's the difference between, say, a straight rhythm, which is what this is implying, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a 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 1 E and a 2 E and right? With, like, say, a triplet rhythm. want to work on, after I get done with this lesson, I'm gonna practice for a couple hours, and I'm gonna work on that that cross hand going this way. One thing I wanted to emphasize in my last demonstration, what I just did, was the different directions that I showed you you could go in, right? Shout out to one of my professors of drums in life, Ralph Peterson Jr., rest in peace. Ralph Peterson Jr. was an incredible multi-instrumentalist, drummer, band leader, trumpet player, composer, all around amazing human being. And Ralph really showed me the importance of locking in your rudiments and then getting them fluid in every direction around the drum set and naming those directions. That way that, you can sort of catalog these directions in these movements in an academic way in which you can compartmentalize that information so that when it's time to practice, you work on those said directions. So let's just call this clockwise, counterclockwise, opposite motion, right? And oblique motion, which is where one hand is stationary and the other hand moves. So right? So clockwise, counterclockwise, opposite motion, and then oblique motion. So you can get funky with this rudiment. You can, and it's like I'm showing you how you can play it as a triplet or as a straight eighth kind of a thing. Turn up your snare. Like that? Yeah. Turn down your kick though. Turn up the kick. Turn down the hi-hat. Turn up the ghost notes. Everything loud. So yeah, I'd say the Paradiddle is pretty dynamic and pretty interesting. Enough to keep me interested and captivated at least, and I hope that you can see the same. Apply these things to your own routine and see what you come up with. And remember that there's all these different ways that you can apply the Paradiddle. First of all, most of these rudiments are all in 4/4 with the exception of the double Paradiddle. So, right, there's the... Right, and then the double Paradiddle is... it's in the form of a waltz. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, left, 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 right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. La 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 la. It's a tongue twister. So get your brain wrapped around these rudiments. Get your brain wrapped around the paradiddle and apply it to your fills, apply it to your grooves, and see what you come up with. You can apply it to a lot of different scenarios: 4/4, 3/4, 6/8. Yeah. Thank you so much to NGO Radio Terra for having me every single week at 4 p.m. right there on their YouTube channel. Stream these lessons over and over again. Let me know if they're helpful. Let me know if they're in some ways, shape, or form unclear. And I'm happy to communicate with you via email. My email is ecussionist@gmail.com. That's ecussionist@gmail.com. Email me questions, and I'm happy to interface and let you know everything that I can about what it is I'm talking about. Today we talked about the paradiddle and gave you a much deeper look at the different ways we can apply it. So don't forget to throw on the metronome. If you have a metronome or a click track, put that puppy on and play with it and sort of get accustomed to using it like a drum machine or an instrument that you play along with rather than keeps control of you. It's just something to aid us in having better internal time because it gives us an example of what a consistent loop is. And after all, that's what we're doing as drummers, is creating consistent loops. Even if it seems like it's obscured or abstract or avant-garde, there's always some type of method to the madness in drumming. So look for the patterns, look for the loops, strengthen your own inner clock. Don't forget to be nice to yourself, say kind things, and be real about your own growth. Don't forget to keep tabs on yourself. Recording yourself and listening back to what you sound like really, really helps. And if you can stomach the truth about yourself, then you can actually grow with leaps and bounds past other musicians who won't listen to themselves. All right, thanks so much. This is lesson number 5 for NGO Radio Terra's music lessons for all levels and all ages. My name is Ecussionist. Thanks for spending this 30 minutes with me. Take care. See you next week at 4 p.m.